Okay, fellas, thank you very much to join the Inner Camino podcast, a self reflection podcast for pilgrims by pilgrims. And for the listeners, I'm quite excited to be honest, because I see you will not see it, it's only audio, but I see five pilgrims in front of me. And instead of interviewing one pilgrim, I have a whole bunch sitting next opposite of me, and they are now in León. And we met each other in Valoria de Rioja, in the resting place for the pilgrims. I started there, the Inner Camino house. And yeah, I'm very excited to do this. Please, could you, each one of you, present yourself to the audience?
Good afternoon, Danny. This is Bob Wise. I'm from the United States, San Diego, California. Thanks for having us today.
Hello, Danny. My name is Carlos Reves. I'm from the United States, from Knoxville, Tennessee.
And I'm his wife, Nancy. Hello, fellow pilgrims.
Hello, Danny and fellow pilgrims. I'm Melissa Flynn from Chicago, Illinois.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ilona from Holland.
So thank you very much. I want to do one extra round before we go into the stories. I just popped up in my mind. Could each one of you briefly describe why you started the Camino?
Yeah, I'll start up here. Danny, this is Bob over here from San Diego. First of all, thanks for hosting us at the Camino house. That was amazing. So far, one of our highlights of the trip. We all loved it.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was awesome. For me, I think initially when I came, it was for the adventure, the challenge, especially as I feel like I'm getting older, to see if I could walk 500 miles. And I think it was kind of a blunt thing, like, let's just get out there and do it. But then the lessons learned were, for me on the trail, were just, hey, slow down and enjoy the trail. Much like hopefully when I go home, take that back home, hey, slow down and enjoy life and what we're doing there. So that's kind of my lessons learned. And then the other part of it too is just the appreciate all the small things. Like as we're walking, the five of us, a little bit of shade or, a park bench to take a nap on, or a banana that we'll maybe share between the five. We end up sharing almost everything, so which is a great thing. And then honestly, the best thing so far about it is not the challenge and it's not the walking. It's really just meeting all the people from around the world. Yeah. And honestly, these four people here, which I don't know if we touched on it when we talked to you, but none of us other than Nancy and Carlos had met. We just all met on the trail and we've been together now for 20 days. Yeah. It's been fantastic.
Typical Camino family, and you're still together.
Yeah.
Because last year when I was walking, I lost 4 times my family.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that you say because I really felt sorry, and you know how men are. Yeah. So Carlos, what is your reason? Why did you start?
So thank you, Bob, for having us as well. I just want to say a little bit what Bob said as well too. The love and caring that you and your wife showed at the house there was just magnificent, and just something that I left there just in awe, because you were not doing it for anything other than just to help people out and to make them feel welcome and just to help any way you can. And so the bug in my ear started in 2004 when I first heard about this Camino. I always said, one day I want to do this. And many years later, I decided, I need to stop saying one day I'm going to do something, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not guaranteed the next hour. We're only guaranteed where we're awake today, right now. And I was very fortunate and blessed to be able to retire about a month and a half ago. And that's what I told Nancy. I said, Nancy, let's go ahead and go do our dreams and let's go do this Camino thing. And for all the reasons, for the spiritual, for the physical, and just to go out there and do it. Some of the things that I've learned of this Camino is, and I know that I am always a go in my real world. And it's one of the things about, slow down. It's okay to slow down. And it's okay to look around and do the things. And one of the things that I really wanted to make sure it happened during this Camino is not just all about me, as to how we can help somebody else in the Camino, how to encourage somebody, because there could be people that are hurting. And I've been very blessed over the 20 years, whatever, my life, that I've been very physically involved and all that. So the physical part of it, I don't want to say that it's easy, because it's not. But I knew there would be some people that would probably be hurting. And if I can say this, one of the greatest things that I think that we can do is we were walking up, and I don't know where it was at, because every day just kind of goes in together. And we saw that this lady on the side of the road, her name is Lisa. from Colombia, South America, which, by the way, that's where I'm from. I was born in Colombia. And she was in tears. She was hurting. And she had that look like, how am I going to possibly do this? And it was just her sitting there. And all of us, without even hesitating, we walked up to her and said, hey, can we help you? And then we were able to patch up her blisters and help her and encourage her. And I'm so proud of Lisa. We've seen her several days down the road, that she has gone from, I don't even know if I can do this, to, you know what, I'm going to do this.
Yes.
You know, and if we, all of us, played one little part in making her dream come true, that'll be 100% worth for me to be able to help her with that.
Yeah.
So,
You know, while you're talking that, I go back in time when I walked the first time. That was in 2013. I did that with my son. He was 13 at that time. And we'd only did from Osobrera, just the last 160 kilometers, and never hiked in my whole life. So after a couple of days, I could not see my feet anymore of blisters. And my son, he said to me, hey, Daddy, you can do this, you know? And there was so much support from him. And then later on, he was standing on his poles days later, totally finished. And it was me lifting him up, you know, and that is so... That was a deep bonding there between the two of us at a deeper level than ever before. But what you say, Carlos, you see somebody then, totally stranger, and at that moment there is a bonding happening which we cannot explain.
Yeah, definitely.
for sure.
So thank you. So your wife, I forgot your name. Sorry again.
Oh, no worries. Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy.
Lisa. It was funny how God put us running into Lisa at the end of 2 days, I think, in a row. And they were 2 tough days. And I thought, wow, look how God put us together with her again so we could encourage her some more. But the third time, she was encouraging me, saying, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good. And I was like, oh, this day's never going to end. She's like, you can do it. So it was neat how we saw it flip, and she would turn and was encouraging me, which I thought was wonderful.
Yeah.
So I came on the Camino to celebrate my husband's retiring, which was well earned for so many years. He worked hard for his family, and it was great to do something that I knew he would love. And I had no idea how much I would love. And I do love it. It's so fun. And just meeting these guys along the way, I keep telling them every time we talk about it, I choke up that I don't want to see them go. Melissa's going tomorrow, one of my babies. I'm the oldest one here at 62 years old. So one of my babies is leaving the nest. And we're happy for her. And we plan in the future to stay together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So why did you start at Camino?
So again, thanks for having us on this. So I started the Camino. It has been something I've wanted to do for years. My college roommate did it a couple of years ago, and I couldn't go with her. And it's just always been on my mind. And I was talking to one of my kids. I have 3 boys. And I said, well, maybe I'll wait till I retire. And he just said to me, why? Why would you wait? You're healthy now. And like this Carlos's point, who knows how you'll be when you retire? So go do it. And I think the other part of this journey is the family that isn't with us. So we've made this amazing Camino family who has picked me up more than once. They've all helped me with my blisters. But to have, I joke that my husband is mission control back home because he's planned everything. If I need to change, he takes care of it. He'll sign off, mission control's got you. It's been incredible. And coming by myself as a woman, I was a little bit nervous of how I was going to do, starting with the big hill on day 1. I don't know if you know Chicago, we have no hills whatsoever, much less a mountain. So I was really nervous about the Pyrenees. And again, every time, like they say, the Camino provides, as I was walking slowly up the Pyrenees, I felt great the whole day. I met these women from Colombia. It seems to be a theme on this trip. And we just walked and talked up that hill, up that mountain, and it was fantastic. And being with these 5 people has given me the confidence that I could do the second half of this on my own. Because somebody will be there, and I'll be there for somebody else. We've shared food.
So when you do the second half on your own, and suppose that you don't meet a second Camino family, which I doubt because that happens me also in all my Caminos several times. But anyway, so suppose that you would walk alone.
Mhm.
Do you feel safe to do that?
I do, because on this trip, on this journey, anytime I haven't, or not even, I've never felt unsafe, but sometimes where you just sort of get that feeling of, this may not be great. Somebody comes along. Like I met Alona one night and I said, hey, let's go grab food. And the next day I was able to walk with them. So I felt like I've never felt alone, even though I'm here by myself. And now I know that moving forward, if I need something, help will appear. As crazy as that sounds, I don't feel scared to move forward. And like you said, I'm sure I'll meet my Camino family part 2, not to be replaced, just adding.
No.
Right.
It's just different. It's no replacement.
No.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Johanna.
Yes. For me, it started with talking with a friend. She was, before her 50th birthday, go by herself for a month on vacation in a different country. And I was listening to her and was thinking, oh, it'd be so great to go by your own and have that experience and be by yourself to be with yourself and not other family. So you have to decide all the things for yourself. And at that moment, I realized it's possible for me also to do it. And I read the book, The Camino, and I was inspired by that. And I was thinking, I can do that. And then I walk and stay over in a little town, be there for a night and walk again. So at that moment, I was thinking about maybe I can do that next year or the next, maybe about 5 years. And my husband was saying, but if you want to do that, you have to put a date in your calendar and go for it. With that support from home, I planned my own Camino. And there I was standing on my own feet, going to the airport and then going to the Camino by my own and being there and start the Camino. And on the Pyrenees, they say, don't go to the left. And I was the whole time thinking, don't go to the left.
You did.
And I was standing there and I didn't know if there's a path on the right because I didn't see it. And I was thinking, okay, I'm walking here by myself. Then I have to wait for other pilgrims behind me. And I was waiting. And there was Bob, Carlos, and Nancy. And she took me with them and say, come on, walk with us and share at the first moment the drinks and food and everything with me. And so we didn't go to the left with all of us. And it was so beautiful to do it together and be there. Yes.
That's funny because don't go to the left. I went to the left. And I didn't notice because I was just following like a sheep 2 other pilgrims who went to the left. And so I just was following. And then I think of 3-4 kilometers down the road, then I thought it is quite quiet here. So I think it cost me an extra 6 kilometers or something, which was no fun at all. So I always said I'm a very slow learner. Who wants to share his story, which really for you was till now the most impactful, insane, emotional thing you encountered on the Camino? We don't need to go through the circle. We can, doesn't matter. But who wants to share that?
Danny, I don't think I have like an oh wow moment, but something else as we're talking about here, and we've all talked about this, is just the big lesson learned for us, for me at least, on the Camino is, you know how it goes, you know, 30-kilometer day and you're tired and you kind of just want to get there. And when you pass something, you think like, well, should we peek and take a look inside that little church or not? Like, no, let's just keep going. We're making miles. Is always say yes. So that's our thing. So even passing your place, we almost passed it, and there was just one pilgrim that said, hey, there's like free food down there. You guys should go check it out. And all of us were like, I'm not really hungry. And we're like, let's just go. We'll say yes. And again, we're so happy we did. And then another example of that was this tiny little church. And, we almost passed it. And then we went back, like, let's just take a look inside. And we met the nicest little nun there who blessed us all and gave us little medallions. And she wanted pictures with us and told us about her time as, volunteering. And it was just so amazing. So my lesson learned too on this is, while we're doing this and in life, is just say yes. If you're like, should I? Just say yes. And so that has been, and so now whenever we think of something like, should we go see that church? Just the other day, we're like, should we go inside that church? And we're like, yeah, let's just go check it out. And then we went there, they were ringing the bell, and the guy ringing the bell was like, you guys want to ring the bell, the church bell? And so all five of us
okay.
ringing the church bell. It was just fun, and that was pagan. Yeah. So that's kind of another lesson learned for us is just say yes, because you never know where that's going to lead you.
And
Yeah, that's true.
I would just add to that, anyone who is listening, that it may not be a lightning bolt that happens. People talk all the time about the Camino is going to change your life. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. It's life changing. And I think, at least for me, it hasn't been this lightning bolt, but it's slowly getting under my skin and changing the way I think. And we've all talked about what we want to bring back. And as Bob was saying, normally I'm up at 5:02 every day and thinking I'm late. I already have so much to do. And now just focusing on, I need to walk, I need to shower, I need to wash my clothes, and I need to eat, reminds you that a lot of things that fill our day aren't essential. And
Exactly.
it made me appreciate so much more the people around me that sometimes maybe I think I'm too busy to catch up with or take time. And all of that has been changing in my brain and wanting to bring back, but it hasn't felt like a lightning bolt, but just a slow, just creeping into my subconsciousness. And I think that's pretty amazing too.
No.
And for me, was
Carlos, yeah?
yeah, sorry.
Continue. No.
You asked us about the wow moments. For me, it was one of the moments that we were inviting for visiting a mass in the church. And we walk in and standing there, and I see a really old man. He was more than 90 years old, I know for sure. And he was so old and standing there with his voice. And I was thinking, oh, that man is doing his best, is coming to the church, have his clothes on, doing his thing for us, standing here in the evening. And I was thinking, sometimes I think in the evening, I'm tired, I'm laying on the couch, and it's just so much things to do in my life. And then seeing that man on that age doing that was for me a wow moment to do the things you can and you want to do in your life, because it's possible of every age if you believe in it. Yes.
Yeah. And he was a priest?
Yeah, you said priest? Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was, I forget which town it was, but it's kind of early. We were at the albergue already. We're kind of tired and everything. And Macy comes into the albergue and she says, here, I need some things to fix somebody's blister. So she runs out there, and there was a Korean man. His name is Kane. And the poor guy had a blister on. He didn't know what to do. He looked like he was wrapping stuff all around it. And so she helped him. And so he was very thankful. And he's a very happy person. And Alona gave him a trail name of Happy Man. And then so what happened was, like a day or two later, he was telling me, he was saying, listen, I want to buy you a drink. And I said, no, you don't have to. See it. Next time, I'm going to buy you a drink. I said, okay, anything of it. So we get to the next town and everything. And all of a sudden, we're in the town, and I see him riding a bicycle. Like, and he saw me, and he would have thought that he saw $1 million bill. And he was so excited. He comes running to me, and he shows me on his phone the village, the little town that he's staying at, which was, I think, like 3 kilometers away. And he says, I've been looking for you because I promised you I will get you a beer. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this guy, his word really means it's solid. And the thing is, that's exactly how we do. If we say we're going to do something, we need to follow through and do it. And to this day, it's just touched me the fact that he cares so much to go do this, to go rent a bicycle, ride to the town, look for me, and get us a beer.
Yeah, insane, eh?
Yeah. There's definitely a shared bond, and I think it's going through the trials and tribulations as you're hiking and everybody's tired. That obviously the 5 of us have, but we see so many pilgrims, and it's easy in town to spot them because they've got the Luco tape on their heel and their toes wrapped up.
And they walk on flip-flops and
Yeah.
sandals.
Everybody's got flip-flops. You're maybe limping a little bit, but anybody you see, you stop and chat with and like, hey, how you doing? How are your feet? Can I help you? Or somebody comes by and they're like, hey, I'm hungry. And anybody here will just give them the last thing they have. So it's pretty special community, not just of the five of us, but of all the pilgrims that, pilgrims and pilgrim. And I think that's something we can take home too, that, hey, help your fellow man. And it's not just on the trail, but it's a life lesson.
Yeah.
My moment for me was the first day, and it could have changed my whole Camino because I found out my cousin passed away.
Oh.
On the very moment we left the albergue, my husband looked at his text and found out my cousin passed away. And his wife was not going to have a funeral for him. Well, 15 minutes later, down the road, I run into a priest that is, what's his name? Father Patrick, who is here with so many young men that are in the seminary.
He was here also.
Yes, when we were there.
Playing the guitar from Ohio. And he somehow picked up and he said, are you doing okay? And I said, what? And he said, will you do me a favor? Will you pray for and I feel bad, I can't remember her name, that is having cancer. And I said, yes, I will. And I said, will you do me a favor? Will you pray for me? My cousin just passed away. He goes, well, do you care if I stop and say some words for him right now? So to me, I would have been thinking the whole Camino, my cousin's not having a funeral. It would have been on my mind, but a priest right then stopped and said a few words for my cousin so I could let it go and go on with my Camino and give me.
Wow.
And he gave me this little Marian medallion and everything, but it just gave me that peace that something could have disrupted my whole walk.
Yeah.
But it took care of it right there. And I could leave it behind and have peace. And my family could have peace knowing that the Father had said some words for him. So that was a pretty good moment.
Yeah. And that's such a in-your-face Camino Provide moment.
Yes.
Because many of these moments are in normal life also there, but we don't notice them.
Yeah. Good
and then when you walk the Camino, you're more open for it, and then you really start to notice them. And my wife and me, I don't know if I told you that in the house when you were with me, but we call this something is taking care of us. And so a priest would say God, and somebody from the New Age spiritual scene would say the universe, and somebody who's more into quantum physics related to human beings would say the quantum field is taking care. To be honest, I really don't know, but I know it is there. In that sense, I'm not a believer. I'm a knower. I know that there is something taking care of us. The only thing, what we discovered, is that we need to train our instinct to keep at peace when we don't know where we go to. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest trouble, because when we sold our house in Sweden January this year, and the day after, the deal for the albergue I wanted to take over here in the Camino this year exploded in my face. Mm-hmm. And so we didn't have a house to live in 2 months and no albergue to go to live. So then panic comes in, of course. So your instincts want to save you, and you want to do a lot of things. Like I was writing emails, I didn't send them. I was making plans, throw them away. So I really give my body to the possibility to express what it needed to express. And I can do that now because there's such a deep knowing that something is taking care of us. And then I call this, then you get out of the way, because I don't try to control it. It is like I try to control the whole universe with a very small human brain. And the power and the creation power of God, the universe, the quantum field is unlimited. And then I try to take over. How should that go?
Yeah.
Work.
Usually.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, the instinct is so powerful, it overtakes everything. And God also said in the Bible, I gave you free will. Mm-hmm. So at the moment that you are in contraction, you want to take over the control, then he would say, okay, fine with me, do what you want to do. And then many years later, when you have learned your lessons, then you can say, okay, I rest now. And I know you are taking care of me. Mm-hmm. And then, and now walking the Camino, you are more open for the signals who always were there, but now you can spot them easier. That's how I look at it.
Mhm.
I don't say that this, what I'm just saying now is true, but that's how I perceive it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So everybody told then what you wanted to tell about what you took out of that. What I'm curious about is when you go home, do you have an idea how you can take the Camino home? How could you do that?
Yeah.
Besides listening to the podcast.
You already talk about it?
We did talk about this.
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, for me, it's just kind of slowing down life and enjoying it as it is, and maybe a little bit simpler, and enjoying the small things, in your life, and appreciating them and appreciating the small things.
So, and how do you plan to make sure that you are slowing down life? Because when life is going fast like crazy,
Yeah.
your instinct will take over and push you to go fast again. So, can you do that?
I guess we're going to have to see how that plays out, but I think just knowing that you want to slow down just knowing that you want to is probably step one, and then figure it out.
And that you
from there.
can't, it's done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I notice myself, I need to be aware that I'm not slowing down.
Sure.
Because when it is a habit, most of the time we even don't know that we are doing it. Only when you get a blister on your feet or you get sick, and then your body says, now you need to slow down. And then, oh, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's true.
I would say too, seeing these seminarians and Father Patrick in this group of the five of us, each day something inspires me that they do. Being at your Donativo and just seeing the love of what you took care of all the pilgrims that were coming through your house. The nun in that small church who just, when she prayed over you, it was like the best hug you ever got. And just seeing all these selfless acts. I teach high school, and I'm hoping to help my students understand there's something beyond just them. And at high school, that's a really hard thing to understand. So if I could even get just a small portion of them to think how they can contribute to the environment they want to see around them, that will feel like I've kept the Camino going. And on a very small, easy thing to do, just really making sure we take more time to do family dinners. Our youngest is only going to be home for another year before going to university. And I want to make sure that we don't just speed through this last year, but actually take the time to be with each other.
Yeah, exactly. So that means for both of you, the Camino will have already an effect when you come home.
Mhm.
Yes.
For the other three, do you have an idea how to do that?
Well,
To take it home?
For me, it's when I see someone that's in need, don't just acknowledge in your head, oh boy, that person looks sad, and just keep going on with my day. I'm going to stop. Okay, that person was put in my way for a reason. So stop and try to change, help them in any way if you can. I know this group, we found that if we came across someone that was a little grumpy, we did our best to turn that grumpy frown into a smile or make them laugh. And we didn't succeed, maybe once, but the rest of the time we did. There was one we couldn't change. But I mean, at least we tried, and I'm going to take that back with me. I want to try to make a difference in someone's life and let them know, you never know, they might not have anyone that they think cares. But I'm going to take the time and let them know, even though I'm a stranger, I care.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can do that when I get back.
But for many days, going back to Lisa, I can still picture her in my mind the way that she looked when we first saw her. Just
That's
completely defeated. Some people were walking by, nothing against them, because they were focused on what they were doing, and we took the time to stop. And so it's important for me to realize that there are a lot of people out there that they think they can't do X. But I think if they get their mindset right, I said, you know what, I can do X, whatever that X might be. And if we can just help in just a little bit, and we'll never know the difference if we're ever making this person. Back to Nancy's thing, if we see somebody that looks sad, whatever, or they go to the grocery store and they're kind of grumpy, you don't know what's going on in their world. They could have, or their family should be sick, or you never, ever know. And the first thing should never be, golly, I can't believe this person's so grumpy. The first thing is, of what's going on in her world or his world. If we just say hi or how you doing or call him by name, if that changes your moment for one split second, then that's made your day worthwhile. So take that into consideration and know that, who knows what they're going through.
Yeah. And you're totally right. And what pops in my mind now is an event here in the Camino house. I think 3-4 days ago, there was a man coming in, and how you call it, the terrace? Patio. Yeah. So my funny Dutch English. So the patio. And he was sitting there, and he really looked like a teddy bear. You could huddle with him. So really nice. And how I am. So I went to him to chat. And within minutes, he became aggressive verbally and in a way that was really wow. And then you've been in a Camino house, and when we share together, the hearts of the people, they open. And at that moment, you are really vulnerable. And I was in that state. Yeah. So, and then something like that happens and it hits you like a rocket. Mm-hmm. So I really need to recuperate at that moment. And I tried to quiet him down, didn't work out. And finally, that's the only person, the first one, I needed to send away. Oh. And it really shocked me. I was busy with that for the whole day. But the thing is, like what you say, Carlos, you don't know why. You don't know. You have no clue. Yeah, and of course you need to protect yourself against the anger, and it's not about the why, but it's about the how. And sometimes you need to stop the how. So that's why I send him away. And I've no clue about the why, because I never talked with him so long that I even could have a small insight about what it could be. No clue, nothing. But I know for sure that there is something there which I don't know, and I know. People call me naive for my whole life already, because there is a deep knowing that people in the core are love, even when they kill. Mm-hmm. And when he did that, there is that other core there as well. Yeah. So you still can open your heart for that part, but you need to protect the how. As against the how. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. It just popped in my mind because you talked about it. Yes. And you can imagine it was keeping me busy for the whole day. And what I do when something like that, I find myself doing that. I didn't know. I was in the car driving to Colorado to have a meal, and I put on my Inner Camino song. Mm-hmm. And I create a page on the website especially for me, to be honest, because there I could put it in automatic repeat. So if you cannot do that in the app. So, and I did that, and it takes me 10 minutes, 15 minutes to drive there. And the song really helped me to come back to that space of non-judgment again. So that helped me. But it is sometimes very challenging when people do a destructive how, to move to the why of them. Yes. It's not easy.
Yes. Sometimes
it's possible.
The answer, that's just a step. Maybe you just showed him planted a little seed, but you had to send him on his way. But you never know.
I never know, and most likely I will never know, and that's fine.
And maybe you need it.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. But it comes in like a hammer, and you need to deal with it, and it's okay. Yeah. But anyway, we're drifting from that, but I just needed to popped in my mind. And for you, what I was thinking about a lot when I was walking the first time and the second time and then the third time, and I counted again and again the same, that you connect very quickly on a deep level with other people from all over the world. Mm-hmm. And also, of course, last time, and here I have that every day, many times a day. I was thinking a lot about how is it that we can do that here and not somewhere else? Do you guys have an idea? Why is that possible on the Camino?
We joke that each day is a year. So if we've known each other 20 days, we've known each other 20 years, because day one, maybe you're asking just the surface questions. Where are you from? What are you doing? By day 20, we're asking everything. Yeah, really into it. And we've asked that too, like, boy, we could solve the world's problems if everyone would just walk the Camino and talk. And
Yeah.
I think we've all said at one point, the goal is simply to finish and to connect to people, but there really isn't a finish. So really the journey is everything on the Camino, and just your willingness to talk. Like you don't just, normally you wouldn't go up to a stranger at a restaurant and ask them to join you.
Right.
But on the Camino, it feels weird not to do that.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
how do we, again, bring that back and make it just a little bit more normal? And it may not be for a while, and people may look at you strange, but you'll find somebody who's like, okay, that made their day with no ulterior.
And Dan, if I can add to one thing, and not just because you're doing the podcast with us, and again, I know we all really appreciate you letting us be on it, but one of the things that I think, and it's a compliment to you and your wife, because there's so many people that have come through your house, and then I guarantee you many of them, if not all of them, are going to go back home and they're going to tell their friends and their families, say, hey, this couple opened up their house to us. It's not like they had a little shed on the side. They opened up their house and they made sure that we were comfortable, and we made sure they were happy, and they made us feel like, you know what, this is my uncle that I haven't seen in X amount of years. And then you, sir, you might not remember this, but there was one of the seminary guys that he wanted to put a little donation in a jar, and he was looking for change. And you just, I think you said, just drop it in and get what you can. And then you said, he goes, I trust everybody. Those were your exact words. And you know what? That right there in itself has to have people thinking, wow, you know what? There is good people out there. There are people that are doing this for nothing other than just to help. You have no intentions, no ulterior motives to open up your house. Again, I say that. That's so awesome. And you will never know the impact that you've made on people, but just know that there are hundreds of people that you have touched, and they're going to tell other people and other people of your generosity. And then maybe that'll turn them around to, you know what, maybe I need to slow down and be generous to somebody else as well, too.
Okay, wow.
We definitely trust more in the Camino than we do in the outside world, which is sad.
Yeah.
We trust like that in the outside world.
Yeah.
So that was a good lesson you taught us with that. We thank you.
Thank you. Okay. You got me silent now. So
Gotcha.
And you know, I was thinking a lot about why it is possible here and not outside. And what I noticed that we don't judge.
Mm-hmm.
You see somebody sitting on the side and you don't think like, come up, continue further on, because that's judgment. But you could say, you go there, can I help you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We need judgment, otherwise we cannot survive in a normal world. If you walk in the city and the traffic light is red and you don't judge, you're dead. There you need to stop. And that's a judgment. So without judgment, our human body cannot survive. But it is also imprisoning people. And here you meet people, and we don't talk about politics. We don't talk about what you do or what your profession in is. That's all gone. We are meeting people without a judgment. And I read that book from Neil Donald Walls, Conversation with God, which is a big guide for me. And I don't want to be a preacher from that, but it had a big impact for me. And, you know, he said that if you don't judge, that is perceived by the other person as unconditional love.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's true.
And I think that if you meet people on a Camino, we don't judge. And suddenly we have a very deep connection, because it feels like it is not falling in love with somebody. That's different. Right. You know, the love you don't have so much emotion by, but it's all in your system and all over the place. And that's what I thought could be the reason why we connect so fast and deep with people we never saw in our own life. And perhaps we would pass them in daily life, which is not normal life. And the Camino is, I think, normal life. And so, and then you would perhaps have an opinion, and then you don't talk or not so much, and you miss that connection. Yeah. Okay. Before I start preaching, because I'm not a priest. By the way, talking about priest, I had an interview with a priest from America, who I met last year. So he will be on the podcast very soon as well. Farah Ben. Yeah. And episode number 4, that's Derek. I talk about that, what happened there with the priest. So if you want to know, then listen to that episode. Okay, before we close, I want to ask each one of you, what do you really want to say to the people who are listening to the podcast? Either to be pilgrims, people on the Camino, or whoever. What you really want to say? What is so important that you want to say before we close this episode?
Before I left, the priest at the school that I teach said that the Camino is so impactful that the devil will put roadblocks to the second you leave. And I think that stuck with me, because before I left, a number of things came up where I thought maybe I need to postpone, maybe I should change it. And my family around me just kept saying, go, just go. You will never have enough time, enough money, enough this, enough that. If it calls to you, just do it. And don't worry about the right gear, the right anything. You will overpack, you will make mistakes, you will throw things out, you'll buy new things, and it will all be fine. So just listen to what calls you and just do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think the other part too is, we've all talked about, like Melissa said, there's a lot of overthinking, like what pack do I need and what shoes do I need? You don't really need
that.
You need some shoes and shorts. Yeah, shoes, shorts. I have, 2 socks, 2 shorts, 2 shirts. And so you don't need a ton, although you will over research. But also, you don't have to we're all doing the French way. So it's 5 weeks. But, if you have 2 weeks, you can do a shorter route, or you can do a section. It doesn't have to be a 5-week thing. You could do like Carlos and Nancy. They did a shorter section, León into Santiago, and that hooked them, and now they're back here. So, don't think it has to be this huge 5-week adventure. You can make it short.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody walks his own Camino. Like last year, I discovered, okay, I cannot walk 24 kilometers a day anymore. I needed to go first back down to 15 a day.
Sure.
And then I noticed I needed to rest after 5 days for 2 days. But I had suddenly appointments because I wanted to take over Nauberga. So then the second day I took the bus.
Yeah.
I can tell you, do you know Lord of the Rings with Gollum?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a lot of Gollum moments before I allowed myself to go by bus. I can tell you that. There was a lot of discussion going on here. Yeah, but everybody walks his own Camino. And
Yeah, I think this is the best way to say it. Do it by your own way, and it's all good. There is no good, there's no wrong. It's all good.
It's your way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Anybody else want to share a last statement for the pilgrims?
I just think 2 things. Hopefully, your podcast, a lot of people that have never done it, have heard about it, are scared about doing it, or wonder if they can physically do it and all that. The answer is yes, you can. And the other answer to that, the question or answer, whatever it is, what León, everybody's been saying here is, it doesn't matter how you do it. You do it your way. There's no shame. There's there's some people that say, well, if you don't walk it with bare feet, you're not pilgrim. No, you do however you want to do it. There's zero judgment. Nobody cares if your hair is the wrong way. Just do your thing. Yeah. And then the other thing that I need to be careful about too, is mindful is, we're excited about it now. We're going to go back to the States or home, and we're going to try to help people out. But let's face it, as a week goes by, a month goes by, a year goes by, we're so far removed from it that we forget about that. And we really need to do an effort of reminding ourselves that, no, the Camino doesn't end in Santiago, Finisterre, or Murcia, wherever it's going to be at. It continues to your hometown every single day, and continue to touch people in ways that you can.
Yeah.
And that's my challenge, by the way. Because I move on to other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We get back into the rat race.
Yeah.
And for us, I think also we started by our own, and now we are a family together with the 5 of us. It's great to do the podcast with you because we want to share this moment with each other. And so you see, things are happening. We didn't know that before we walking the Camino. We did it by our own, and just see what's happening. And now we're sitting here together.
Mhm.
It's so special.
Yeah.
Really
One happy family.
Yes.
Yeah. So I must say that I find it quite exciting. I also mentioned it in the beginning because I do till now only the one-on-one talks, but this was really awesome. So if other groups listen to this podcast, this episode, please hit the share your story button, and then we do another one with the whole group. Yeah, and because that's really exciting, and also listen to your stories. And I really hope, Carlos, what you say that more people start doing this, because I don't know, did any one of you listen to the introduction episode? And you didn't listen to it, because I came to an insight when I was writing the script for that one. I never write scripts, but I did for that one because I really want to make sure that what I found important came across. And when I was writing the stuff, the script, then I realized that if we listen to Pilgrims talking about the Camino, actually what we are doing here is reflection. We look back. And actually what the Camino is all about, self-reflection, because you look at all the things happening to you. And the thing is that I was talking so much with people about being in the observer position, the third position, and people looked at me like, oh yeah, I understand what you talk about, but they didn't understand. And the thing is that at the moment that you do self-reflection, you are aware of yourself and you're out. You are looking at yourself. And then that's a very unique position, because then you are aware that you have an emotion, but you are not the emotion. And then you can determine what kind of action you want to do. And many times you look at the emotions you have, and then you say, hey, dude, this is quite funny you want to do now, because I made a big laugh about myself, one of the columns moments. So, and then I realized that if you listen every day to self-reflection of a pilgrim, you are training your brain in self-reflection, because we are copying machines. And if you start to see why somebody is doing something, what I discovered is that the judgment for the why fades away very quickly. I can still have very strong judgments about how people do that. They're like the man or leaders in the world. So the how you can judge, and many times you need to stop it as well. But the why is always something they try to do something good. And if you understand the why, judgment fades away, and then it becomes unconditional. And then you are in the space of unconditional love. And when I was writing that script, and I thought, oh, blimey, when really people are listening to the podcast every day, your brain will rewire. You cannot help it. And then another aspect is kicking in as well, because your instinct is perceiving that you will change. And he doesn't like that, because that's unsafe. Mm-hmm. And so he will do the best tool, put in the best tool that your instinct has, and it's made you forget to listen. That's the best tool the instinct have to put you on the same spot, make you forget to listen. That was one of the things I got out. And when I now invite the pilgrims here in the Camino house to join the podcast, then I say also, you need to do it now. Because if you think you want to do it later, your instinct will intervene. Mm-hmm. And then 6 months later, you think, I wanted to do something with the podcast. What was it again? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's how the instinct protects itself and keeps everything the same. So, yeah. So I really hope that people listening to the podcast are aware of that and push that button so we can actually, make... I think if you go back home and you do what you all talked about, people will see it and feel it, and you make a difference.
That's the goal.
There's no escape for that. Okay, so I want to wrap it up. Thank you very much. And so I hope, actually, I don't know what to say anymore. I just want to thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Whether you're walking the Camino right now or preparing for it, or perhaps you are back home and maybe even suffering from PCS, the post-Camino syndrome, I hope that this podcast inspires you? And if so, do not keep it to yourself. Share it. When you share this podcast, you actively help spread the skill of self-reflection. Every person who learns the skill of self-reflection begins to see people differently. You may still question what somebody does, but the judgment about their intentions start to disappear. And you are entering the realm of non-judgment. And non-judgment is experienced as unconditional love. This is how real change begins. With you, the people around you, your city, your province, your country, your continent, and eventually the world. That is why actively spreading the skill of self-reflection like an unstoppable virus is so important. So please do not just listen, but act on this call and share it with as many people and on as many platforms as you can today. For new episodes, go to www.inacaminohouse.com. Select the podcast page in the menu. There you can subscribe to the podcast notifications. You will also find a link in the show notes. Thank you for listening and bon Camino.